G'day everyone, Scott Wimble here, back for the Wimble-don channel. And I want to talk today briefly about study motivation. I've been teaching for a long time now. 2005 was my first year, and I've heard many students over the years tell me the same few things. And I often kind of respond in a way that tries to give them a little bit of perspective about just how tough their lives really are. But I thought it might be a good opportunity to talk briefly and maybe to hopefully motivate some people out there who might be watching this and might be interested as well. Often the things that I hear are, there is no time, and I'll often hear, I'm not really sure what I want to do, sir. They're probably the main two, or I don't really know how to study. So probably those three things I'd like to tackle today, and I'll tackle them in whichever order spring to mind first of all. The time one. Now, there are people who have incredibly busy lives. I understand that. Many things happen, and sometimes it can be difficult to squeeze everything that you're expected to do into the 24 hours that we get per day. If you're one of those people, that's fair enough, and maybe you need to go and see a teacher, maybe you need to sort out some kind of time management system for you. But for the majority of students, I don't have enough time. Usually, if you're honest with yourself, doesn't really cut it. Most of you, if you're really honest with yourselves, know that you spend a good an hour to an hour and a half online every day, literally doing nothing. Whether you're looking at memes, watching YouTube clips that your friends have sent you, whatever it is, either you've gone to sleep or you've gone to bed, I should say. Out comes the phone and you start flicking through Facey or Insta or whatever you're looking at for the next hour, or throughout the day it's in little bits. But regardless, I'm not here to judge anyone. You do with your life what you want to do with your life and your time. But if you want to do well on the HSC, one of the things that will have an impact on your final mark is the amount of time that you put into revising your work, practicing those skills that you need for the final exams or for assessment tasks, and working hard to get good marks in your assessment tasks. So if you're one of those students that's walking around saying, I don't have any time, sir, I suggest honestly looking down and really thinking through what you do during the day and finding that time. It's not so much a question of magically going, oh, actually you're right, sir. It's being diligent and actually prioritizing and saying, no, I actually think it's worth my time to cut out certain things during the HSC year, for example, to actually do as well as I possibly can. So that's the first thing, not enough time. If that's you, sit down, be honest with yourself, think about how much time you actually spend doing various things. Social media would be the main one for me. And start actually prioritizing and saying, well, if I want to do really well, I'm actually going to spend my time revising, etc. The second one that people talk about is they don't know how to study. Now, that may be the case. That may be the case in year 9 and 10 when you're kind of not really paying attention, you've never really done it before. By the time year 10 or 11 comes around though, you really should have had many opportunities to practice studying. And if you're sitting there at the beginning of year 12 saying, I don't really know how to study, there could be multiple reasons for this. Maybe you've never learnt. Maybe your school's never showed you different study techniques or tips. Maybe you're someone who has just been massively slack and you've never studied. You're one of those people that just cracks the book out the night before the exam and has a quick scan through and goes, she'll be right. Regardless, there are a million different websites out there which have videos and slideshows and BuzzFeed's 15 top study tips. Go and spend an hour online, look at a whole bunch of websites and write down 4 or 5 different study techniques that you think may work, and then actually try them all. They're not going to work for everyone, but it's really not difficult for you to go and find, even go and ask your teacher, I'm sure they would love to help you out with a couple of different ideas, and then go and try each one and say to yourself afterwards, do I think I can do that on a long-term basis? Or maybe you find all of those work for me, and then you can just do them on a rotating basis when you're getting ready for an exam or you're studying for a test, etc. So I don't know how to study is usually met with a look of incredulity from me. It looks a little bit like, really? And then I suggest a couple of different sites. I can make some videos perhaps with different study techniques and how you can use these to get ready for exams, and I'll chuck those up there as well. The third one, the third one I can understand, but if you think about it in a different way, it really doesn't make sense in the slightest. People will say to me, oh, sir, I don't really know what I want to do, so therefore, I just don't feel motivated. Now I can understand that. If you want to be a doctor and you know you need a really, really good ATAR, well, you're gonna punch out the time and the work, and you're gonna try your very best to get a high enough mark to get into that course. But the thing that is it ATAR? I'm pretty sure it's ATAR still, or is it UAI, or is it HSC or TER? Regardless of what it's called at the moment, I'm pretty sure it's ATAR. The ATAR is just a number, but it's a number with an important function. If you want to go to university, that's the number you'll need. So if you're somebody that says, I'm not really sure what I want to do after I finish school, well, you could do absolutely nothing and you could get 50. Now, if you get 50, you'll have some options available to you. You could do a couple of different courses, you could do X, Y, and Z. If you got 60 though, you actually have more choices available to you. If you work hard and you get 70 or even 80, the options are huge. So I say to a student, if they're saying to me, oh look sir, I don't really want to know, don't know what I want to do after school, I usually say to them, well, that would motivate me to work even harder. Because you don't want to work it out once you finish school and then realize you didn't work hard enough and you can't do whatever it is you've worked out what you want to do. So I'm not sure what I want to do when I finish school. To me says now is the time to work hard and give yourself as many options as possible by trying to get as high an ATAR as you're capable of getting, so that you can look at all your options once the HSC finishes. So that's usually the three things that I say to students that ask me and say, either I can't get motivated, sir, or I don't know what to do, or I can't find the time. Some students find that empowering and go, yeah, you're right, sir, now's the time to kind of knuckle down and do some hard work, and others kind of give me that vacant look and I realize I haven't got through to them, and that's okay, because they'll continue living their life and they'll do whatever they end up doing. So there's a video, hopefully to motivate some people, or simply to put across my thoughts when it comes to studying and some of the things that students say to me and some of the reasons why they say they struggle to study. Hopefully that's kind of improved your way of thinking about getting ready for the HSC and studying. If not, maybe it's entertained you in some slight fashion. Thanks for watching thus far. Stick around, subscribe to Wimble-don channel, and there'll be a whole bunch more videos. I'll have to think about it, and I'll come up with some videos with study tips to help you guys when it comes to getting ready for exams. But remember, there's 240 odd videos there of content for legal, for modern, for ancient, for geography, stuff like that. So enjoy, and I'll catch you guys around.